All right, my friends. So on the previous video, we analyzed an opinion writing prompt. Now we are going to reread Winning the Right to Vote in order to form our opinions and find reasons to support it. So as you can see on this slide, it says teacher example. So remember, I have my own prompt and you guys have another prompt. So I'm going to model how to reread to find text evidence to support your opinion, and then you guys are going to apply what you learn into your own prompt, okay? So let me go ahead and reread my prompt. There are two kinds of graphic features used in Winning the Right to Vote: timelines and photos. Which kind do you think better supports the text? Write a paragraph stating your opinion. Provide reasons based on your reading of the text. Okay, so below I see a chart and I see that it says kind of graphic feature. So my chart says kind of graphic feature because my prompt is asking me which kind of graphic feature do I think best supports the text, okay? And then I see right next to it, there's another little section that says how it supports the text. So I know that as I reread, I'm going to look for timelines and photos, which are examples of graphic features. And I'm going to see how those timelines and photos support the text, okay? So that's what I'm going to go back to the story to look for. So here we go. In order to keep this video short, I will just be taking a look at the timelines and the photographs, and I will be stating how they support the text, okay? So on page 22, I see a timeline, and the title of this timeline is Voting Milestones, Men. So this timeline shows me important events in men's voting rights and when they happened. So that's how this timeline supports the text. Okay, I'm going to keep going. I'm going to look for more timelines. Okay, on page 24, I see another timeline, and this one is called Voting Milestones, Women. So this timeline shows me important events in women's voting rights and when they happened. So here are some dates and when they happened. Okay. On page 27, I see another timeline. This one is titled Voting Milestones, Native Americans. This timeline shows me important events in Native American voting rights and when they happened. So now that I have found that text evidence, I'm going to go back and I'm going to type it in. So how do the timelines support the text? And everything that I just kind of said is what I would write in my chart. Okay, so how the timelines supported the text. Now I'm going to go back and I'm going to look at the photographs and see how the photographs supported the text. Let's start at the beginning. Okay, on page 23, I have the first photograph. I see that in this photograph, I see people marching. So this photo helps me visualize what marches for voting rights look like. Okay, on page 25, I see women in a vehicle. This photo helps me see that women of all ages, even girls, supported women's voting rights. Okay. And on page 26, I see a cartoon, a political cartoon, and this cartoon shows me how important voting was to Native Americans. But as you can see, there is a man who seems to be keeping the Native American man from voting with a stick. Do you see that? So that's what this helps me visualize, what it was like for a Native American who wanted to go vote. On page 28, I see the League of United Latin American Citizens. And it says that it's a club who helped John F. Kennedy become president. So I know that in the text it talked about how Mexican Americans were not allowed to vote, yet they still helped John F. Kennedy run for president. So that tells me that they really saw voting as something that was important. Okay. And on page 29, you see a bunch of young people marching with signs, protesting. So this photo helps me understand how much young adults cared about their voting rights. And this goes with the text because it does say right here that many courageous people were fighting hard in order to get the right to vote. So now that I am done looking at the photographs, I'm going to go back to my chart and I'm going to write how the photos support the text. So basically what I just said is what I wrote in my chart. Okay, so that is my text evidence. And now that I'm done, I have to think about my opinion. Which graphic feature do I think best supports the text, either timelines or photos? So I'm going to go back and reread my information, and I'm going to choose and make up my, or construct my opinion, okay? Now it is your turn. You will reread Winning the Right to Vote to form your opinion and find reasons that support it. So remember, your prompt is different than mine. Your prompt says, of all the voting milestones discussed in Winning the Right to Vote, which one do you think was the most important? Write a paragraph stating your opinion. Provide reasons based on your reading of the text. So because your prompt is asking you which voting milestone is the most important in your opinion, that is why on your chart you have different voting milestones, okay? You have the 15th Amendment, Voting Rights Act, the 19th Amendment, the 26th Amendment. I didn't include all of them, just I wanted to narrow it down so that you can just pick out of these. But what you are going to do now is you're going to go back to the story, Winning the Right to Vote, and you are going to tell me the significance or importance of each milestone. So I did the first one for you just so you can get an idea of what I mean. So as I went back to the story, I looked for the 15th Amendment and I saw that it was on page 23 right here. So what's the importance of it? So it says some states would not let African American men vote, so the 15th Amendment was added to the Constitution. It says that the color of a person's skin doesn't matter when it comes to being allowed to vote. Okay, so that's the importance or what the 15th Amendment is. Okay, so that is why on the chart I wrote that. Okay, I said the 15th Amendment was added to the Constitution because some states were not letting African American men vote. The amendment says that the color of a person's skin does not matter when it comes to being allowed to vote. So now you are going to go back to the story, Winning the Right to Vote, and you are going to find the importance or the significance of these voting milestones, and you will fill out the chart.